All right, so Jay, to wrap it up, put a bow on it, let's go to the world of boxing. We don't really get to talk boxing very often.
It's been a while. It's been
a while. Probably the last time we talked boxing was the last time before this time that these two fighters fought, which is Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, who fought again the Bronze Bomber, the third fight of the trilogy to this day in Las Vegas. Veins in your neck and everything popping. Fought again in Las Vegas. Tyson Fury won by, I believe, KO in the 11th round over Deontay Wilder. Wildly entertaining fight. Very good fight. One of the best fights I've seen. Recap of the fight went as such. Feeling each other out the first two rounds. Tyson Fury puts Wilder on the canvas in the third round. And in the fourth round, Wilder puts Fury on the canvas, I believe, twice. But from the third round to the 11th, Deontay Wilder was wobbly. Off balance. He was not himself. He looked dazed at certain times. No one could figure out how he was still in this fight against the biggest, strongest fighter in boxing.
Dazed and confused.
But still one of the gutsiest performances I've ever seen. He displayed a lot of heart, a lot of will, and he knew how important this fight was for his legacy. Couldn't pull it out. When Fury hit him with that shot in the 11th, he went down. He was on his side. It was over. They didn't even count. Ref didn't even count. It was over. But still, that's one of the best performances in a loss that I've ever seen from a fighter. So before this, he had my respect. He's got my utmost respect now. Wish him a speedy recovery if need be. And I want to see him back in the ring. Hopefully in less than, this took, 19 months for this fight to come around. So anyhow, after this, the question is, okay, what is the future of each fighter? With Tyson Fury, I think he's going to have like a warm-up fight early next year. But then you're looking at the winner between Anthony Joshua, the rematch between Joshua and Usyk in order to unify the titles. So that's where Fury's going. Deontay Wilder, no one really knows for sure. Maybe Anthony Ruiz, maybe he fights Usyk or Joshua, whoever loses that fight or something like that, whoever doesn't fight Fury. And that's sort of the direction of heavyweight boxing at this time. I mean, there's no Floyd Mayweather to carry your sport. So it's really down to those two biggest names in your sport.
Yeah.
So you have, we'll say, professional, traditional boxing on one side.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, on the other side, we have the Paul brothers, right?
Yeah.
Logan and Jake Paul. And what they're doing as far as the pay-per-view numbers, as far as the star power of the fighters that they choose to fight.
Theatricality and deception.
The niche entertainment value, but still doing really good pay-per-view numbers. So you see two directions that, in a sense, will determine the future of boxing. So when you look at both of those, think of it this way, Jay. I got two questions. First, you have an $80 pay-per-view voucher. Same night. So on the same night, you have Wilder and Fury fighting. And then let's say you have Jake Paul and Conor McGregor fighting. Which fight would you use that $80 voucher on?
Oh, God. Okay, what's my options?
You have Wilder Fury over here. Don't think any storylines. Just Wilder Fury are going to fight. And you have Logan Paul, Conor McGregor on this side.
So I'm more traditionalist in this boxing world. Okay. I'd probably go Wilder versus Fury because I have no interest in watching Logan Paul fight at all because every fight has been kind of, he hasn't really fought an actual boxer. He's been fighting people that can box, but not a traditional boxer in the sense. If he goes up as a traditional boxer, I'm totally down. I don't want to see him play Floyd Mayweather because Floyd Mayweather was going to be a defensive and he's going to just jab him to death. I want him going against somebody that will knock him out and see if one of the two can knock each other out. You know, there's no shade to Logan Paul himself, but I want to see if one of the two can do it. But I'd probably put more money on that Wilder Fury fight because when I went back and looked at all of it, I'm like, man, this is some quality. This is something we have not had in a long time. A true quality boxing match of two heavyweights hitting each other, pound, just pow, back and forth. And I was reading up, someone mentioned that basically Fury was just jabbing him to death, just hitting him in certain, just beating him until he just couldn't do it anymore. And because Wilder wasn't protecting himself like he should have.
I mean, that's a big part of it. And Drew pointed this out actually before the fight started, that a big part of what Fury did in the last fight, and he did it again in this fight, is he would lean on him a lot.
Exhaust his body, take them legs out.
Right, that 280 pounds just constantly leaning on you. Because that's what happened. Each fighter gained 20 pounds for this fight. I mean, Wilder, it was obvious why he had to do it in order to face this bigger boxer. And I guess Fury did essentially the exact same thing, which made it basically a zero sum for Wilder because your opponent gains 20 pounds as well. But yeah, I mean, just, you know, what's really good about these fighters is they're two sort of larger than life fighters. Because you see Deontay Wilder, just this 6'7", just just cut up, looks kind of more like a basketball player, honestly, than a boxer. And then you see Tyson Fury. It is hard to describe his body type. Just big, burly, 6'9". Just looks like a monster. And to see them just like two titans, to see them go at it for a total of 33 rounds, if you count all 3 fights, is, I mean, a huge part of what traditional boxing or what traditionalists who love the sport like me would want to see. And it's something we haven't seen in a really long time. I mean, to think of it that way, it's almost like you have to go back to the Tyson days to really think about two names, two equal names, two larger than life figures going into the ring against each other.
Yeah,
now, I know you had the Klitschko years and all that, but I mean, it didn't really move the needle like these, and Fury actually beat Klitschko. But all right, so that's what you would personally do with your $80 voucher.
Yep.
But which side do you think has the upper hand in determining the future of boxing?
Oh, it's Logan Paul. He's a niche. He's a niche. He's a cartoon character to some people when it comes to it. He's not taken too seriously as a boxer, but he's a fantastic promoter and marketer. I mean, that's why he's a YouTube sensation. He's really good at promoting himself, getting himself out there. So everybody's quick to buy in on the Logan Paul side. He's going to bring in big names, offer up big money because he can get big purses, and it's going to be entertaining for a lot of people. Do I find it entertaining? Like I said, no, I do not find it entertaining whatsoever. Watching him fight people that aren't boxers. I want him to go against a real boxer. If I can find somebody, because is he a heavyweight?
I think technically yes.
I think technically is technically. Well, that's what I want.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I want. Right. That's the question. Is he technically a heavyweight? I have to look up and see.
So do you think that's eventually what he'll do? Like, because for him, you have to think of it one of two ways. You can think, all right, I'm going to keep doing these niche fights. I'm going to still collect these checks. I'm doing well for myself.
He's a cruiserweight.
Okay, I'm doing well for myself with what I'm doing right now. But do you think that eventually he'll want to see, well, can I really do this? Can I really hang in there with a real professional boxer and then go in that direction? So do you think eventually he will do that?
I think so.
And if he does do that and he takes a bad L, then do you think he'll keep doing that or go back to the market in a sense he's created for himself within boxing?
Ooh.
If he takes an L against a professional fighter, a bad L.
I think he will. I think that will be the motivation to keep him going, because I think that he's a lot more motivated with that, and I think that's going to make him pretty big. Because I mean, both of the brothers are both cruiserweights. They're both around 6'1" and some change. They both got some size on them, so they probably almost 200 pounds of pop.
Yeah.
I think with both of them, I think that they could just make a bunch of money off of it. I think they can make a bunch of money off of it. But I'm not sold on. Like I said, I got to see him against some real boxers. Not even Floyd Mayweather. I need to see him against some real boxers that are in their age range, that are in shape and ready to continue their careers. I don't know who the boxer will be because I don't really know the boxers that well. But we'll see. I think if they can get to that point, even if they may take a loss, I believe they will continue to fight.
Okay.
So.
But overall, it was a great night for boxing. I don't know when the next time will be that we'll talk about boxing.
Oh God, I mean, I don't know. I as much as I enjoy boxing, I don't know the next time that we'll actually have to talk about it or whatnot.